The Mitchell Corp boardroom hadn't changed in 15 years. Same mahogany table, same leather chairs, same oil paintings of stern-faced executives who'd built the company generations ago. Even the coffee served in delicate china cups was the same bitter blend my uncle had always preferred. I sat quietly at the far end of the table, watching my cousin Victoria hold court at the annual shareholder meeting. She'd barely acknowledged my presence when I walked in, just a dismissive glance and a whispered comment to her assistant about family obligations. As you can see, Victoria gestured to the screen behind her. Mitchell Corp's luxury retail division has exceeded all expectations this quarter. The board members nodded appreciatively. My uncle Robert, Victoria's father and CEO of Mitchell Corp, beamed with pride. Next to him, my Aunt Margaret dabbed at imaginary tears, overcome by her daughter's success. I took another sip of coffee, thinking about the numbers I knew were hidden behind Victoria's polished presentation. The real numbers that showed Mitchell Corp was bleeding money, losing market share, and desperately trying to hide it all with creative accounting. And who is this young lady? One of the board members had finally noticed me, interrupting Victoria's carefully rehearsed speech. Victoria's perfect smile flickered for just a moment. "Oh, that's just my unsuccessful cousin," she said with practiced casualness. "Emma's father, my late uncle, left her a few shares, so legally we have to invite her to these meetings." A few shares. If only they knew. "She runs some kind of small online business," Victoria continued, her voice dripping with fake sympathy. "Nothing like Mitchell Corp, of course, but we try to support family however we can." The board members nodded, already losing interest. To them, I was just another minor shareholder not worth their attention. Just like 15 years ago when I'd first brought my ideas to this very boardroom. I was 22 then, fresh out of business school with a vision for modernizing Mitchell Corp's outdated retail model. Victoria was 25, already being groomed to take over the company despite having no real experience beyond her last name. "E-commerce is the future," I'd told them, presenting carefully researched projections. "If Mitchell Corp doesn't adapt, we'll lose everything to online competitors." Uncle Robert had laughed, that booming condescending laugh I'd hear in my nightmares for years after. "Retail is about luxury, about the in-store experience. No one wants to buy high-end products from a website." Victoria had smirked from her seat beside him. "This isn't some college project, Emma. This is real business." So I'd left, taking my inheritance, those few shares Victoria had dismissed, and started my own company. Nova Digital was born in my tiny apartment with nothing but a laptop and an unwavering belief in the future of online luxury retail. The first years were brutal. I worked 18-hour days, learned coding at night, and lived on ramen noodles while building my platform. Victoria made sure our entire family knew about my little internet shop, mockingly sending me links to real job openings at Mitchell Corp. But I had something they didn't: understanding of the digital revolution that was about to transform retail forever. Nova Digital's breakthrough came in our third year. Our platform, which combined personalized shopping experiences with virtual reality showrooms, caught the attention of major luxury brands. Suddenly, the same high-end designers who exclusively sold through Mitchell Corp were calling us. I kept my name out of the press, using my middle name on company documents. Emma Grace became known as a mysterious tech innovator, while Emma Mitchell remained the family disappointment. And finally, Victoria's voice pulled me back to the present. "I'm excited to announce our plans for expansion. 20 new luxury department stores across the country." I checked my watch. Right on schedule. "Excuse me," I raised my hand, speaking for the first time. "Before we discuss expansion, shouldn't we address the company's current financial situation?" Victoria's smile turned brittle. "I'm sorry, what?" "The quarterly results," I said calmly, opening my briefcase. "The real ones, not the creative accounting version you've presented." The boardroom temperature seemed to drop 20 degrees. Uncle Robert sat up straighter, his face darkening. "Emma," he warned, "this isn't the time." "Actually, it's exactly the time." I pulled out a thick folder. "As Mitchell Corp's new majority shareholder, I think we need to discuss some changes." Victoria's perfect smile vanished. "What did you say?" "Oh, didn't you know?" I smiled, enjoying the moment I'd waited 15 years for. "Those few shares you mentioned? I've been quietly buying more. Through shell companies, private investors, and particularly from shareholders concerned about Mitchell Corp's creative bookkeeping." Uncle Robert's face had gone pale. That's impossible. We would have known. Would you? I pressed a button on my laptop and new numbers filled the screen behind Victoria. You were too busy building physical stores while retail went digital. Too focused on tradition to see the future. Too proud to admit you were wrong. Board members were flipping frantically through the documents I'd distributed, whispering urgently to each other. These numbers, one of them said, they show we're almost bankrupt. Unless, I continued calmly, we embrace digital transformation. Unless we accept that the future of luxury retail isn't in physical stores, but in personalized online experiences. Unless we completely change how Mitchell Corp does business. Victoria was gripping the podium so hard her knuckles had turned white. You can't do this. You're nothing but a what? I cut her off. A small online business owner? Actually, Nova Digital processed more luxury sales last quarter than all of Mitchell Corp's stores combined. Those designers you're courting for your expansion? They're already signed with us. The silence that followed was deafening. Nova Digital? Uncle Robert whispered. You're Emma Grace? I stood up slowly, straightening my jacket. Surprised? You shouldn't be. I told you 15 years ago that e-commerce was the future. You chose not to listen. Victoria was frantically whispering to her assistant, probably trying to verify my claims. But it was too late. The truth was already spreading through the boardroom like wildfire. As majority shareholder, I continued, I'm calling for an immediate vote on new leadership. Unless, of course, you'd prefer to watch Mitchell Corp continue its decline into obsolescence. The briefcase that had carried my documents suddenly felt lighter. 15 years of dismissal, mockery, and condescension had led to this moment. And I was just getting started. This is ridiculous. Victoria's voice shook as she tried to maintain control. The board can't seriously be considering. Actually, interrupted Bernard Wheeler, the longest-serving board member, we absolutely should consider this. He held up my financial reports. These numbers are devastating. Why weren't we informed of the real situation? Uncle Robert stood up, straightening his tie. Now see here, Bernard. Mitchell Corp has been in my family for 3 generations, I finished for him. And you're about to be the generation that destroys it unless you accept that the world has changed. My assistant Alice entered the boardroom right on cue. Ms. Mitchell, the live sales numbers you requested. I nodded and new data filled the screens. This is happening right now. Real-time luxury purchases through Nova Digital's platform. Notice anything interesting? The board members leaned forward, studying the figures. These transactions, one of them said slowly, they're all for brands that traditionally sold through Mitchell Corp stores. Exactly. I walked to the front of the room, taking Victoria's place at the podium. While you were building more physical stores, your customers were moving online. While you were focusing on luxury experiences, they were embracing virtual showrooms and personalized digital shopping. Victoria had sunk into her chair, her perfect facade crumbling. But our expansion plans would bankrupt the company within 6 months, I stated flatly. Building traditional retail stores in a digital age? It's like investing in horse-drawn carriages when cars were invented. Aunt Margaret finally found her voice. Emma, dear, surely we can discuss this as family. Family. I laughed. Was it family when you mocked my little internet shop? When you told everyone I was throwing away my inheritance on a foolish dream? We were trying to help you understand business, Uncle Robert protested. No, you were trying to maintain control. To protect your outdated vision of luxury retail. To pretend the digital revolution wasn't happening. I pressed another button, and Nova Digital's corporate profile appeared on screen. My small online business is now worth $12 billion. We have partnerships with every major luxury brand in the world. Our virtual showroom technology has revolutionized how people shop for high-end products. The board members were whispering amongst themselves now, casting sideways glances at Uncle Robert and Victoria. I move for an immediate vote on new leadership, Bernard Wheeler announced. Given these revelations, we clearly need a different direction. You can't, Victoria jumped up. Daddy, tell them they can't. They can and they will, I interrupted. Unless you'd prefer I sell my shares to Amazon or Net-a-Porter. I'm sure they'd love to acquire Mitchell Corp's assets at bankruptcy prices. The vote was quick and decisive. 15 years of family control ended in less than 15 minutes. Effective immediately, Bernard read from the resolution, Emma Mitchell will assume the position of CEO. The board approves her plan for digital transformation of Mitchell Corporation. Victoria fled the room in tears. Aunt Margaret followed, already working on spin for their social circle. Uncle Robert remained, staring at me with a mixture of anger and something else. Perhaps respect? You planned this, he said finally. All of it. No, I corrected him. I built something successful. Your company's failure and my ability to save it? That's just karma. Save it. He scoffed. You'll destroy everything we built. Actually, I'll transform it into something better. I handed him a folder. Inside is a job offer. Advisory position in digital transformation. You can help Mitchell Corp enter the future or you can watch from the sidelines. Your choice. He took the folder with trembling hands. And Victoria? Has the same choice. If she can accept that the world has changed, there's a place for her here. If not. I shrugged. There are plenty of traditional retail stores still hiring. For now. The transformation of Mitchell Corp began immediately. We closed the planned expansion projects, redirecting resources into digital infrastructure. Some employees resisted the change. Others, particularly younger staff, embraced it enthusiastically. Victoria, surprisingly, was among the first to adapt. Teach me, she said 1 month later, pride finally giving way to pragmatism. I want to understand how you built Nova Digital. Uncle Robert took longer to come around, but eventually even he had to admit that virtual showrooms and personalized digital shopping were the future. 6 months after the takeover, Mitchell Corp's stock had tripled. Our digital platform, combined with Nova's technology, was revolutionizing luxury retail. The same family members who'd mocked my little internet shop now bragged about their connection to the company. Yesterday, during a strategy meeting, Victoria raised her hand with an idea for improving our virtual reality features. Good idea. Maybe she was finally learning. Remember when you called me your unsuccessful cousin? I asked her later. She had the grace to look embarrassed. I was wrong. About everything. Yes, you were. But you learned. That's what matters. Last week, a business magazine wanted to do a story, how Emma Mitchell revolutionized luxury retail. They asked why I didn't just let Mitchell Corp fail instead of taking it over and transforming it. I showed them a photo from 15 years ago, my first day presenting to the board, young and nervous but certain about the future of retail. Sometimes success isn't about destroying the old, I told them. It's about transforming it into something better. The Mitchell Corp boardroom has changed now. The oil paintings are gone, replaced by digital displays showing real-time sales data. The mahogany table remains, but it's surrounded by modern technology. Even the coffee is better. But the biggest change isn't in the furniture or the technology. It's in the people. Victoria leading digital innovation projects. Uncle Robert advising young entrepreneurs. A company culture that embraces change instead of fearing it. Sometimes the best revenge isn't proving them wrong. It's teaching them how to be right in a new world. And sometimes, just sometimes, family businesses need a revolution to survive.